Tracing the twists and turns in our family tree very often involves dusty vaults, dead ends and false leads. But we all carry a key that can unlock a history long lost to us. It's our DNA. 12 New Zealanders have had their DNA tested, and that's going to help them to solve old family mysteries, uncover ancient forebears, and even find a fortune or two. Stay tuned for a fascinating ride. Hello. Being given the chance to unravel the ancestral recipe in our DNA is always exciting, because on the upside, it can link us to long-lost relatives and special moments in history that our forebears experienced. Waiting in the wings are musician Naru Moa and actor Thompson.
It's great skimming stone territory.
I kind of feel like I've got a right to be here, and yeah, it's good. It's really good.
I'm Anika. Hi. I really believe you only live once, and to do this journey is so genuinely thrilling.
My relative, she's one of these stones.
First up is Anika. There are some gaps in her family history, but let's hear what she knows about herself.
The background on my mother's side is she was born and raised in England, in Stroud, and she moved here when she was 14. My mum's a hero. She was my mum and dad. She's awesome, and she's still my best friend to this day. I don't know much about my Maori heritage other than that my dad was in jail lots. When I was 13, I met my grandfather. He'd speak to me only in reo, and he'd say, "Gotta speak Maori only, and I'm gonna tell you your whakapapa, but you can't write it down." So I've forgotten it all, unfortunately.
Anika.
Hello.
Anika Moa.
Yes, that's
Welcome,
my name.
welcome.
Nice
Sit
to meet
yourself
you.
down.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No, it's I haven't had you yet, but I will. Your mother's side,
Yes.
from Stroud,
Yes.
in Gloucestershire.
Yeah, Gloucestershire.
I was born in Gloucestershire myself.
Really?
So what year was your mother
We're
born in
related.
Gloucestershire, do you know?
1958, I think.
Oh, she's just a child.
She's 58.
Just a child. Wow. Anyway,
Sort of.
that's nice. And she came to New Zealand as a 14-year-old.
Yep. She ended up at Epsom Girls Grammar, and she used to get teased for her accent because she had that kind of Cornish accent.
That's right.
There.
That's right.
So she quickly, I think, left school quite quickly, and then, yeah,
Okay.
had all of us.
We've got a world map of your markers, your DNA markers. If you care to look at the screen over there, we can have a look at those and see how we get on. Well, thanks to your mum, you've got a 45.1% British and Irish DNA. You have 5% French-German and 1% Ashkenazi Jewish markers, so it's very likely that your mother's line had links to Germany. You also have 32% Southeast Asian and 16% Oceanic, which is what we'd expect from someone with a Maori heritage. Now, there's a DNA surprise lurking on your father's side, but you're going to have to wait for that once you're on the road.
Wow, thank you.
Right, I'm going to give you
Okay.
this little device, and once you're out on the road, I shall be in touch with you and give you some more updates and information.
Thank you. I'm very nervous, but I'm very excited.
Well, you have
see
every
what
right to be nervous. Thank you so much for coming
See
in.
you. Oh, I
Bon
love it.
voyage.
Ka kite.
Well, Anika's in for a whale of a time unravelling her father's DNA, but her first port of call is going to be very much closer to home.
My story is I am from England, mostly, and part Maori, and I'm probably from Ireland and Spain. That's my story I tell myself. But I don't know, and this is the best way of finding out. Hi, Richard.
Hey-ho, Anika, we found some fascinating documents about your great-great-grandmother, Naru Moa. She hailed from Hokianga. Now, to find out more, head to the Horeki pub, where a package awaits you.
Are you kidding me? This is the place I used to come here from when I was 13, when I first met my dad. And yeah, lots of memories of oysters and
Yeah, lots of hilarious cousins and horses and beautiful bushwalks. Yeah, this is definitely a place that I grew up and enjoyed being in. But what am I going to learn at the pub?
Now, we found a newspaper article from 1941 that mourns the passing of Naru Moa, Anika's great-great-grandmother, and she lived to be 106 years old.
Naru was the daughter of Tipaho of the Aupōuri tribe. She was a noted songstress, like me, and storyteller with a great knowledge of Maori genealogy and rituals.
Oh, hi, Richard.
Anika, look at this family tree. It shows Napu's dad. His name was William Fowler. It's believed his ship pulled into harbour for repairs, and he liked the cut of Aotearoa's jib so much that he stayed. His ship came from America, which is where you need to head now to learn more.
Wow, America. I don't know anything about my dad's family. I actually used to fight with my teacher when I was at school. She'd be like, there's no full-blooded Maori in New Zealand. I'd be like, my dad is? And because he's real black, and he has got a real note, like a Scottish nose like that, so he's full-blooded. And I so would not expect to have any American blood in my it's so weird. Woo, it's very exciting as well. And I'm going to have to practice my art science.
Hello, welcome back. Now, the chance to take a peek at the roadmap of our DNA can reveal new surprises or confirm what we thought we already knew. Leading man Eric Thompson's career has been packed to the rafters with roles ranging from Hades, King of the Underworld, to surfer dad George Turner in the hit series 800 Words. But his own story is varied. Let's see what he thinks he knows.
I'm one of 3 children. My name is Eric, obviously. My older sister's called Helga, and my younger sister's called Ingrid. And it sounds like we're from Scandinavia, but we're Scottish. Us kids were all born in Scotland, but we emigrated to New Zealand in 1974 and still live here, except for myself. I live in Australia. I'm really, really hoping to be surprised. I think my whole family will appreciate just to find something that we didn't expect. You know, that to me is that little unexpected little twist.
Eric, come on in. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
How lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. Now, you came to New Zealand in what year?
We came here in 1974. I was 7, and we moved to Upper Hutt, right next door to Selwyn Toogood, actually, who was quite big at the time. It's in the bag.
How extraordinary.
Yeah. We arrived in May. The weather was terrible. We figured we may as well have stayed in Scotland, and 6 months later, we ended up moving up to Tauranga, where we stayed. But Mum's still there.
OK, well, I'm from the Tauranga region as well, so
yes.
I'll have a cuppa with your mum a bit later on.
OK.
Now, you decided to become an actor at what stage in your life? You left school?
No, I'd done it all the way through school, and then I went to university, and I was still acting, and then someone said, well, why don't you audition for New Zealand Drama School? And I didn't ever think I'd get in, but I got in, and then I graduated, and then I started working in theatre. So I never really decided. It just kind of happened, and I've been doing it for 26 years.
It's not really a job for grown-ups, is it? Dressing up and making believe?
I'm just beginning to realise that now, and it's too late, you know? I can't do anything else.
Right, we've discovered quite a bit about your DNA, as it happens, and we're going to bring it up on the screen over there. Let's take a look. So your DNA is 99% Northwestern European, with 69% of that being from the UK and Ireland. There's a small amount of French, German and Scandinavian, which could be Viking. You also have a very unusual 0.1% of Yakut. And were you aware of that connection?
I don't even know what it is. What's Yakut?
The Yakut are people of an ethnic group from eastern Siberia.
Wow, that's amazing.
Don't worry, we're not going to send you anywhere like that. No. But I want you to take this, if you don't mind, and keep it with you at all times, and I shall be in touch with you in about 24 hours to give you some further instructions.
OK.
Thank you so much, Eric, for coming in.
Thanks,
Richard. It's been great to meet you. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye. Well, Eric may not be headed for Siberia, but he's going to feel a stiff Arctic breeze up his kilt.
I wanted to do this show because, yeah, for the family, just to find out a few things about ourselves. Hi, Richard.
Good morning to you, Eric. Hope you've packed your battle axe. Your first destination is Haugesund in Norway.
Right, excellent. Wow. I think I'm going to Norway because I think I've got Viking blood. I think I have.
Well, Eric is actually absolutely spot on because his DNA does show that he's got Viking heritage, and now he's off to meet Marit to learn more about Norse culture.
I can't get over how beautiful this place is.
You must come back.
I must, yeah.
I've always had an affinity and been drawn to the old pine forests and the, you know, snow-covered lands, and knowing that I had a connection, just, it all made sense to me, actually.
Well, Eric, this would be a house where your forefathers would have lived 1,000 years ago or something like that.
1,000 years ago?
Yeah.
I know that it was long Norwegian winters. How did they entertain themselves? Was it a lot of music?
When they sat alongside a fireplace like this, they would tell stories. Okay. And this was not only because of entertainment, but it was also a way to keep the past alive. So they told stories about kings and also about their forefathers.
Those are the sagas.
Yes, the sagas and poems as well.
Right.
Yeah. And there is a poem called Håvamål, which is really the tale of Odin. He was the god, you know, the supreme god, yes. Cattle die, kinsmen die, and you yourself will die one day. But I know something that will never die. The reputation of a dead man.
One thing that will never die is my reputation.
The reputation you leave behind.
Right.
Yes.
Wow, that's powerful, isn't it? I had no idea that Vikings were into poetry because, to me, their reputation came from being fierce fighters.
This was the thing that the Vikings became known for in the whole of Europe, right down to southern Europe.
Right.
Was this battle axe.
And they were much feared, were they?
Oh, yeah. In the south of Europe, you've got short swords. They're quite lightly dressed.
Right.
And then comes somebody just under 2 meters tall with that. There are records, especially when you go down way into the south of Europe, of the Vikings were used as mercenaries.
Right.
And there are records of basically battles not happening when the Vikings turned up.
It's a brutal weapon. So my father always said that if he wasn't a doctor, he would have been a linguist. And I think when he was in his teens, he decided he wanted to learn Norwegian. So he bought an English-Norwegian dictionary and taught himself. And yeah, Dad would at times just all of a sudden starts, you know, speak a phrase in Norwegian, just random, you know, Old Norse.
Hey, Richard?
Eric, you're about to go a Viking. That was a term for a Norse overseas experience back in the 10th century. You're headed for a place your ancestors ruthlessly plundered, the Shetland Islands. You'll be sure of a warm welcome there.
All right. Thanks.
Songstress Anika Moa is on the trail of the American whaler who swept her great-great-great-grandmother off her feet.
I so would not expect to have any American blood in my it's so weird.
She's come to the old whaling town of New Bedford, Massachusetts, and archivist Mark is waiting at the Whaling Museum to help her uncover more of the story.
William Fowler used to work on the whaling ships. He married a Maori called Ngāpuhi. That's all I know, really.
I have the Charles Batchelor files. We got his collection, 1870s.
Who's Charles Batchelor?
So he was actually an amateur whaling historian, and he was on the board here at the Whaling Museum.
Yeah.
And he took these ridiculously meticulous notes on any single whaling vessel he could find.
So this is actually their writing and everything?
This is his writing.
Oh,
and it's every.
So I'm assuming we just go straight to the word to Fowler.
That's what we're going to do in the database.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So we're going to start with what can capture the most information.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You said the last name was Fowler?
Yeah, Fowler.
All right. You said William Fowler?
Yep, William.
All right.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah, there he is.
OMG. William Fowler. So he was on the President too. The rig was bark, and it was the year 1849. But it doesn't say his age.
Well, it doesn't, but you know what? That's what the hard copy crew list is for.
Yeah, cool. Okay, well, let's find it.
All right. Luckily, I know exactly where it is.
Do you?
I do.
You're awesome.
Yeah. This is the 1849 book, because that's the one that William Fowler was on. 1 book per year, and 1 voyage per page.
OMG.
And so he would write down.
All neatly, too. It's so beautiful. And this would have been just one of the voyages he was on.
Hey, there he is. William. So it looks like William J. Fowler.
That's cool. This is great. What does that say?
That looks like Rochester.
And what does that mean? Is that where he's
That
from?
was that's where he said he was from.
Okay.
Rochester. It says he's 19.
Wowzers.
19 with a dark complexion and dark hair.
But what would the dark be?
Darker.
This has interested me now.
Yeah, it would be darker than light,
actually-
but lighter than black. Well, we're not talking like African American.
Oh, okay.
Because there's one here.
Oh,
They
that is
cut the-
interesting. What was that?
It's black for black, and
okay.
and the hair color they put W for woolly.
Oh,
That's
well,
how-
it
that's how
should
they
be
did it.
A for afro.
That's not what they did. They put W for woolly.
So this was the ship that went to New Zealand.
This is the vessel he shipped on. Yep.
Wow. That's so good. This is the one.
That's the one.
Yeah. It's amazing.
We got it.
We got it, all right. It would take years to get to New Zealand. That's the hard bit, you know, and being on the boat in that museum and seeing just how small those boats are, it's incredible. Just to jump on a boat and trust that you're going to end up somewhere so magical and mythical. You know how beautiful New Zealand is. Imagine jumping off that boat and seeing this beautiful land. And I can understand how he would have stayed in New Zealand. There's no way I would leave New Zealand. Oh, hi Richard. How's it going?
Anika, we have a DNA surprise for you. Your results show 1% Native American markers. Now, this may very well explain William's colouring.
OMG! Wow.
Actor Eric Thompson has discovered his Viking roots in Norway,
That'd do some damage, wouldn't it?
and he's hopped across the North Sea to his mother's birthplace, the Shetland Islands.
Shetland. My son, Magnus, is the first Thompson to be born outside of Scotland in the history that we know. And whenever I tell my daughter that she's half Scottish, this kind of look comes across her face. I don't know what she imagines it's like up here. Probably colder than she's used to.
Hey, Richard.
Hi, Eric. It's very possible that your Viking ancestors came to the Shetland Islands with ill intent, but they stayed on and set up shop, and Dr. Andrew Jennings is a Viking expert, and he's waiting for you on the Isle of Unst to give you the lay of their land.
My mum was born in Shetland, so when I was a young lad, I'd come here to see my grandparents. All my family here were fishermen, so to be crossing these waters feels quite nostalgic.
Where does this road lead to?
The ends of the earth.
The end of the earth. Yeah,
Literally.
pretty much that, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that's one of the exciting things about Shetland. For thousands of years, this was the end of Europe. I mean, people didn't know there was anything beyond. This was it.
Yeah, right. And what is out there to the west?
Well, nowadays we know that if you go in that direction, you hit the Faroe Islands. And then just beyond that
Is
is
Iceland.
Iceland.
Right.
In fact, you're closer to the west coast of Iceland here than you are to London.
Okay, right. What's that little island there?
That one, that's the very most northerly point. That's Utsta, or Outstag.
Utsta, is that Norwegian?
It's an Old Norse name.
Old Norse
Yeah.
name, Utsta. Yeah.
the Viking settlers didn't borrow any of the place names from the people that were here before.
They just rebranded it.
Rebranded everything, yeah.
Did they accidentally find Shetland? Were they looking for somewhere else?
I think they knew where they were coming. I mean, I'd say it's not very far from here to Norway.
Yep.
You can get to Norway in a boat, probably in 2 days with just one night.
I've been a double immigrant in my life, actually. I went, when I was 7, my parents took me from Scotland to New Zealand, and then when I was 28, I moved to Australia. So I've always had this sense of being a little bit aloof when it comes to my cultural identity. So going back and standing on that land and looking at those vistas that it kind of reconnected me to my past.
So we're sitting in the ruins of an old Viking longhouse, are we?
Yeah, this is the house called Hamar, and it was excavated a few years ago. The bit we're actually sitting on, this was the original structure. It was a pit house, probably used by women to do their weaving. And the bit behind us, that's...
Is it the master bedroom?
Yeah, exactly. a bit of privacy. It's clear that on your mother's side, there's a Scandinavian DNA.
And does that qualify me to be a Viking, is it?
Oh, definitely. You're definitely a Viking on your mother's side.
Oh, on mum's side, OK.
Yeah, you've got some unusual mitochondrial DNA, which you inherit from your mother, and she inherited from her mother, and so on back into time. And the particular mitochondrial DNA that you have exists in the Sami people of Scandinavia. And they were always regarded as a magical people. And it's entirely possible that amongst the Vikings who came here, there were Sami people as well.
Really?
So perhaps your ancestress was actually a Sami, but she came over here and established a family here in Shetland, probably 1,200 years ago.
OK, that's a nice context. Wow, it's amazing.
I didn't know that we had a connection to the Sami people. So, kind of hearing about that and walking on this land, it just kind of given me a real sense of place, actually.
Musician Anika Moa's DNA adventure has revealed her great-great-great-grandfather was William Fowler, an American sailor who jumped ship in New Zealand.
So he was on the President too, and it was the year 1849.
Anika has also learned that she has 1% Native American DNA.
19, with a dark complexion and dark hair.
Wowzers.
And Anika is now in Mayville, Wisconsin, to meet her DNA cousin Jack, who also has Fowlers in his family tree.
This is my first time in Mayville.
This beautiful, petite little town.
I'm looking forward to seeing Jack, who I meet today, and what I learn about my background, which is so weird. Everyone here kind of talks like, hi, how are you? What would you like today? Do you want a coffee? And I'm like, oh my God, because I've been doing accents like that all my life, and now I know why. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Anika.
Hi, Anika. I'm Jack.
Nice to meet you. Mwah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's nice to be here in Mayville. Okay. I don't know why. I kind of know why I'm here, because my great-great-great-grandfather was William Fowler, but that's all I know.
Okay.
What would we be related?
We would probably be 7th or 8th cousins by now.
And do you feel excited knowing that you've got a cousin in New Zealand?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very
cool.
cool. It's very cool.
It's my cousin. So the Fowler comes through your mother's side?
From my mother's side, yeah.
So it is English, eh? It's very much from England.
Very much from England, sir, yeah.
So my mum's English, and I knew that all my family's from England, but I never would have guessed I would find my American English family via my dad because of because of our genealogy and our history. So it's really interesting. So, what can you tell me about the Fowler family? Let's go back in time.
Okay. We have a witch in the family called Susanna Martin, and she was actually tried twice. Once in like 1670s, and then later on in 1692. But the one in 1692 got her. I mean, that's what got her. She was by that time, her husband had passed away, and she had no family of her own, so she was kind of poor and destitute.
Oh, that's witch material
that's
already, isn't it?
There.
She killed him, probably.
Actually, he stood by her all the time in the first ones. But yes, she was accused of being a witch by several different people and a lot of children, which is, they took testimony, a lot of...
From children?
Children telling her that she kind of cursed them and make them do strange things.
Like clean their room? Clean your room or else.
And supposedly did that, and eventually all the accusations and depositions caught up to her, and then they hung her and a couple others on the same day, and they buried them in shallow ground and rocky ground, because that's what you do with witches. You don't bury them deep into the soil because
they're not God.
You're not godlike, and you wanted them. So supposedly some people think they know, but no one knows for sure where they were buried. So
that would be so. Imagine if you found it.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well,
wow, that's interesting.
Why? Yeah.
Are there any more interesting stories about witches and any vampires?
No vampires. I don't wear them.
Imagine that.
No vampires.
Just a couple vampires in our family. It's all good. It was lovely to meet Jack. It felt really surreal, and it felt right and natural, and I felt like I was on the right path. But mostly what I found fascinating was the tale of the witch in the family, and all what happened and around that time with, hanging them and putting them in prison. And, all you have to do is go boo and they say you're a witch. What? It's crazy.
The town where Susanna Martin was hanged for witchcraft is Salem in Massachusetts. And Anika's in town to pay her respects.
When you hear the word Salem, you think of witches. Now we're here in the place where a relative of mine was actually part of the witch hunt.
It just shows the minds of people back then. But it's very similar to the minds of people now. The fact that you can be victimised for being you.
I am sitting on one of the 20 seats. This is a Salem memorial for the 20 witches that were either incarcerated or hanged.
And my relative, Susanna Martin, was one of them.
She's one of these stones. I'm very superstitious, actually. I used to not wear shoes on stage because I was superstitious that if I did, I'd have a bad show. Wear a certain pair of underwear when I'm on stage. And I believe in things like when you leave a graveyard, you have to wash your hands with water so the spirits don't follow you home. But in a sense, I'm not that superstitious because I don't really believe in ghosts. Oh.
Hello, Anika. That's the end to the dark side of the family tree. Now, are you ready to walk into the light? On a beach, that is.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
Your third cousin, Tenna, is waiting to meet you in Hawaii.
Hawaii!
Actor Eric Thompson is in his mother's ancestral homeland, the Shetland Islands.
So all the heritage and culture and landscape here belongs to you.
My land.
He's now of the old Sinclair family craft, land that his mother's family have worked for many centuries. Local historian Tony Gott has got some family tales to share.
The first evidence I have of a Sinclair living here was Jerome Sinclair.
Jerome, okay.
Jerome Sinclair was here in the 1841 census.
Okay.
But he was quite aged then. He was in his 80s.
So it's likely that the Sinclairs were here quite a few generations before that.
I can only find the Sinclairs here from the late 1790s.
Well, that'll do. 1790's pretty good. So tell me all about this land that I own.
Well, this land your family used to own.
Used to own, yes, thank you.
Is the area that you can see around here. Jerome Sinclair, I believe, was the first person to actually live and own the land here.
Right.
We know his father is John Sinclair from Jerome's marriage record.
And John is my great-great-great-great-grandfather, five generations.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
The Sinclairs were very protective of their own land and what they owned and would defend it. Both Jerome Sinclair and his son, Magnus Sinclair, were almost classed as being violent people. Magnus Sinclair decided that he'd had enough of his neighbour. What he did is he decided that he was going to burn their house down.
And he did this?
And he did this.
He did this.
Although he said he did not set fire to it personally, he instructed one of his beach lads to do it for him.
What a nasty piece of work.
Whether you feel there are any traits in yourself from that?
Well, I'm not a violent bloke, but it's interesting you say that. I've got a photograph of my great-great-great-grandfather, Magnus, and now that you say that he might have had a history of violence, you know, looking at his eyes, I can kind of see, I can maybe see that little twist in there. Of all the times I came up to Shetland, no one ever brought me here. Maybe there's like a sense of denying our ancestry or something. I don't know. Maybe there's some, you know, finding out that my great-great-great-grandfather was an arsonist, you know, burnt someone's house down. Maybe that my family these days are denying our history. So I've taken this little piece of rock out of the house here, and I take it back to Australia. My daughter's currently doing a model house, a model croft house. So I'll be able to give this to her and say this has come from our ancestral croft house up in the Shetland Islands. And my little boy Magnus, he's named after, it's a family name. And neither of them have been back to Shetland or to Scotland, but I'm definitely going to bring them up here next year. We'll bring a picnic up here, and I just want to see them running around this land, and you know, I think they'll fit in quite nicely. Maybe we can stay here. A bit drafty though, I think.
Eric Thompson is in the Shetland Islands. At his ancestral croft, he learnt of a firebug in the family tree.
You know, finding out that my great-great-great-grandfather was an arsonist.
He's now in downtown Lerwick, capital of the Shetlands.
Hey, Richard?
Evening, Eric. It's time for an ease up. You're about to meet Mary Elaine, your fifth cousin. She's a dab hand on the fiddle and wants you to taste a slice of modern Shetland life.
So you've never had any desire to leave Shetland?
Yeah, I have, but no, not for the rest of my life, I suppose.
Right, so you're always going to be here,
yeah,
you think?
I feel like you're always drawn back to Shetland, like you're always drawn back home here.
And what is it about the place that makes you want to, you know, stay here? Is it just because you were born here, or is it the culture, or what is it?
I think it's a lot of things, and I think I'm really lucky the generation I'm born in, because in recent years Shetland has grown and expanded so much, and there's a lot more on offer for young people.
Right.
So you do have the culture, like there's a really vibrant music scene now in Shetland.
Because there was a period there where a lot of the youngsters would just leave, wouldn't they?
Yeah. But after they opened the oil terminal, there became this huge influx of money and opportunities for jobs in Shetland.
Yeah, there was a reason to stay.
Yeah.
I said it to Mary Elaine. I said, here is the water and the land, and then you get the music and the stories on top of that, and it completes the picture. And I think all cultures' music does that, whether it's Maori or Norwegian or Shetland. It kind of just kind of gets you, and it kind of makes everything right. Yeah, it's very inspiring.
That was incredible. Incredible. Hey, Richard.
Well, Eric, you held your own with the fiddlers, but it would be wrong to come all this way and not stop off at Grandma's old house, now wouldn't it?
This is my family land. It's kind of a long way from nowhere, but my mother was born in that house, so it's got a lot of a lot of deep significance to our family here. There's a photograph of my grandfather and all of his brothers and sisters sitting on the doorstep. I think it would have been an idyllic kind of lifestyle here, but maybe I'm romanticizing it. I actually don't know where I belong these days. I mean, when I left Scotland back in '74, I was too young to even sort of understand what was happening. And then I came back to the Shetland Islands and went to school here in '79 at the age of 12. And I was looking forward to coming back because I used to get called haggis and jock back at school in New Zealand, in Tauranga. And I thought when I'd come back here, I'd be accepted as a son, you know, like a Shetland son or a Scottish son, you know. And I got back here and they called me Maori. It's great skimming stone territory. Oh, that was a bit shit. I feel very much at home here when I'm here.
Well, that's a good one.
I kind of feel like I've got a right to be here, you know, and yeah, it's good. It's really good.
This is the one.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Musician Anika Moa has uncovered her father's American family, and it's taken her through whaling history and even the Salem witch trials. And now she's in Hawaii to meet her third cousin, Tena, who's also connected through her dad's line.
I'm about to meet a fifth or sixth cousin called Tina, and I'm excited to meet her. In Māori kind of culture, she would pretty much be my close auntie. So she's welcoming me into her house, and hope she's got heaps of food because I'm hungry. And yeah, looking forward to hearing some stories and seeing some pictures and stuff. Okay, here we go. I'm here. Hi. I'm Anika. Are you Tina? I am. Aloha. Oh my goodness. Hi. Beautiful. So are you. We're so relatives. Yes, we are, because I like to bounce too. Oh my God, thanks for having us.
I'm so excited. Look, we're being blessed. This in Hawaii is not rain, it's blessings.
Yeah, my hair's gonna get wet. Let's go.
Let's go, okay.
Oh my goodness. It's really thrilling to meet a fifth cousin and to find out you've got so much in common, and you just feel connected to them straight away. So, you're Tina, and what's your full name?
Tanita, which is very similar to yours.
Tanita and Anika, yeah. From New Zealand, when you think of Hawaii, you think of Samoan or Hawaiians that are really, really brown. And that's what I thought you'd be. And you'd like kind of have an accent like this. You'd be at the beach and we'd meet at
Pigeon brother.
Yeah. But you're you. You're beautiful. You've got the same hair as me, but better. And what do you do? Who are you?
I came here about a year ago because I'm a hairstylist for the film industry. And Hawaii Five-0 brought me in to live in paradise. And I said, all right.
So tell me a little bit about your TV show, because I love famous people.
Okay.
I'm really famous for loving famous people.
Oh, gosh. I've worked with Miley Cyrus,
OMG.
Robert Redford,
OMG.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
What's he like? So you've done his hair?
He's darling, yeah. First time was on A River Runs Through It. Just a good old boy, just very sweet.
You're like really famous in the hair world, dude.
I am very blessed to have had a great career. Tell me about your beautiful tats, because they look tribal. Would they be considered tribal?
They are, they're definitely. When I was 18, I just started it because I thought I was cool, but then I started getting into my Maori culture, and so it's up here, lots about my mum and dad. Can you see this? It's an eagle. So there's the face and the beak, and there's her wings.
Wow.
And then that's all these koru here represent each of my siblings. I've got 7 siblings.
So if I come to New Zealand, can we go get tats together? Can we find where I tie into the family and get something meaningful?
Absolutely, yeah, you absolutely can. And you kind of look Maori too, so you'll definitely be welcomed with open arms.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi there, I'm Anika Moore, and I'm on the set of Hawaii 5-0.
Sometimes when you go on set, it's a little bit awkward and people kind of a little bit rude to you. But when Tina invited me onto the set, she was like, "This is my cousin Anika," and everyone knew me. Everyone listened to my music and they were like, "You're so amazing." I'm like, I know. Tina's energy is very similar to mine. She's very outgoing, bubbly, but you can see that she's serious and sensitive and hardworking, and I think we really clicked, and I think that her and I will be in contact. She's actually already invited me to do a gig at a local place, so I might do that. I might come back and sing here. I really believe you only live once, and to do this journey is so genuinely thrilling. It was really nice. It was really nice to actually have this moment, because I actually just thought that it would be all like facts and figures and where they were born and how they were born, and then you meet someone so cool. Find out you've got so much in common, and you just feel connected to them straight away. When you put an idea in someone's head and then you start searching, then you start believing. And, you know, a man with the name William Fowler, he's just one of many relatives that I have not met.
This is my mom.
Yeah. And that's my grandma.
This is Tina's dad.
So it's time for me to get out there and search for more family. It'll be good. It'll be fun.
Our DNA contains tiny hints that tell us how our forebears travelled. It shows us where to look to uncover traces of their lives and the stories we find to help bring them back to life. It's been a great pleasure helping reconnect New Zealanders with their forgotten heritage. I'm Richard O'Brien. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.